I'm really privileged to have Marco Robert here, who is going to show startups who need money the key things that they need to do when they're pitching their business, rather than just go into angel investors and get blown out straight away.
Yeah, well, good question. Really good question, right? You want to raise capital with your business, what do you do? Well, it's about distinction, right? I live in the Silicon Valley. I've been there for 15 years now, and everybody comes and they always want to pitch investors. They always want to pitch angels. And I have developed a process I call the 12-slide process, which allows a new business, a startup company, or somebody who wants to raise money, to actually distinguish themselves into the 12 areas that are important for investors. Look at this, right? I have a phone right here. Well, the average person, if they were going to sell the phone, they would say, I have a phone. It's a beautiful phone. It's white. It's a phone. It's a phone, and then it's a phone. I like my phone, right? That's how the average investor actually tries to get money from their business. They have one perspective on their business. They understand one side. If they happen to be left-brained, they'll talk about the engineering aspect of it. If they happen to be right-brained, they'll talk about the beautiful aesthetic things about their business. They'll talk about the future of the business. They'll talk about the feeling good of the business. But investors actually need more. They need, first of all, they need both. They need to be touched a little bit on their left brain, and they need to be touched on their right brain. So first, this is how you do it. Number one, you need to talk about yourself. What is it that differentiates you from the rest of the world? Right? The investors need to know that. Then we need to talk about the company. How is your company unique? How's your company standing out in the rest of the world? Then we need to have some sort of we need to start highlighting some of the problems. Put yourself in the shoes of the investor. What are some of the challenges that those investors have? I'll tell you, right? For example, the average entrepreneur out there who's trying to raise capital is very, very fartsy-artsy. They're very up in the air. They're very vision-oriented. And it's one thing to have a good idea, but then if I'm going to give you $1 million, what are you going to do with that money? So for an investor, it's really hard to find someone that they know that person will take care of my money. Right? So maybe you address that during your presentation, right? Maybe you start talking about your processes. What kind of processes do you have? Maybe you start talking about your secret sauce. You give it a little tang. You explain. This is how we do it. Like nobody else does something like that. Talk about your team. That's kind of a different aspect of the business as well. And then eventually, what you want to do is you want to give them a timeline. You want the business owners, you want the investors to know where this is going. When am I going to get paid? What's your exit strategy? Tell me a plan, and you need to be able to do this in about 12 to 15 slides, and you need to be able to do this in about 20 to 30 minutes. The best way to remember is this. When you start your presentation, tell them what you're about to tell them. Summarize the presentation. That's the old adage, right? Tell them what you're going to tell them, tell it to them, and then tell them what you just told them. That's probably the best way. That's probably the best way to raise capital. I've helped a lot of my clients raise millions and millions of dollars over the years. So, yeah.
Marco, thank you so much for those insights.
You're very welcome. If you want to find out more, look me up, marcorobert.com or vantagecompany.com.